So last week we spoke about one of the most important formulas, which is oxidative phosphorylation, how it can affect things like granulomas, immune system, gum disease, all these type of things. So we also touched on there a substance called glutathione, and I want to speak to you today about detoxification, why it's so important, and methylation. And this process we spoke about a few weeks back now when we spoke about mental health and the importance of methylation in mental health. Now what I want to do is talk about another aspect of that pathway. So if you remember back from a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about methylation, which was the conversion of methionine to homocysteine, and how this spat out these CH3 groups, which were methyl groups, and these groups were responsible for genetic expression and the like, which were really critical, as we spoke about back then, in regards to mental health. So that was this part of the formula that we spoke about. Today I want to speak to you about the lower half of the formula, which is probably just as important, if not more important, than that top half when we're looking at brain health and hormone production and the like. So what I want to talk to you about today is the detoxification aspect of this process. So this process and the removal of homocysteine gets converted to a substance called cysteine. And cysteine is a high sulfur compound. And it gives rise to three critical things that we want to look at here. The first one is this big, really long word that we're going to summarize for now called PAPS. The next is our cytochrome P450 system, and the final one is glutathione. So we're going to start with glutathione because we touched on that last week when we're talking about oxidative phosphorylation. So what basically happens is cysteine gets converted a few intermediate steps to this glutathione, which is really, really critical for our brain health and our nervous system health, really critical for immune health. Antioxidant, it's our primary antioxidant within the system, has an extremely high concentration within the cells and in the liver itself. In saying that, it's really important for liver function itself in terms of keeping the liver clear and operating. And it's also important for this thing called apoptosis. And apoptosis is programmed cell death. So this is what happens when the nervous system gets infected with a virus as well. It puts up its flag and says, hey, look, I've been infected, and then certain things attack it and switch on, and that causes the cell to actually kill itself so that it doesn't spread the virus to anywhere else. This is known as apoptosis, and this is what we should be seeing with cancer as well, where it kills itself. And glutathione is really, really critical in apoptosis function right throughout the human body. The next aspect of it, and this is actually also, I haven't put it up there, but this is also one of our key removers of hormone, especially things like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, out of the human body as well. So a really, really, really critical substance for overall general health and well-being is glutathione. Next across from there we've got our P450 system, so this is our cytochrome P450 enzymes, and these are really critical in things like drug elimination, again part of our hormone elimination, and also to do with infection in terms of our immune health. So some really critical steps through there. And the final one is sulfur, which we get in the form of PAPS, and sulfur is a natural chelating agent. So chelators are things that kind of rip what do you want to call it? Rip toxins and things like this out of our system. We can talk about detoxification, how these things remove things out of the bloodstream, but realistically, before we start talking about that, you actually need to remove it out of storage, and this is what our chelators do. And sulfur is a really great chelator, and PAPS is a huge donator of sulfur to the system, and therefore plays a role in chelation naturally. The next one that it does is xenobiotics. So xenobiotics are all your foreign chemicals, so chemicals that aren't actually intrinsic to the human body. So it eliminates all of those, and again, it's really critical in the removal of hormones out of the system. So as we can see, when it comes to methylation, we've already spoken about it in regards to our mental health. Now we can start seeing the importance of it in detoxification and the role that it plays in trying to get everything right and under control and keep your system healthy. And we talk about liver dysfunction, or liver cleansing, if you want to call it that, or detoxification in terms of phases of detoxification. And these are two or three components of those two liver detoxification processes that are absolutely critical in order to keep our hormones healthy, keep our immune system healthy, keep our brain healthy, stop us from aging, get rid of things that don't belong in the system, and really flush our system out. There's a whole lot of different substances you can use to stimulate these mechanisms. So for instance, glutathione, a couple of key things we can use here. So cordyceps has been shown to increase, the TV's gone a bit funny again there, sorry guys. Cordyceps has been shown to do it. Substances like N-acetylcysteine, another great source of glutathione. It's also a high source of sulfur. We're looking at our PAP system. We can use things like liposomal or S-acetyl glutathione directly in supplement form, which we can use for this. Then basically we can also look at other substances as well, which are supporting of it, such as our methylation substances like B12, folate, B6, which all drive that kind of process as well. When we're looking at P450 enzyme complex, St. John's wort actually has the herb St. John's wort plays a really great role of flushing that P450 enzyme complex out. In fact, there's also some talk that St. John's wort may actually reduce the effectiveness of the pill in some people. I haven't seen reports of that recently, but there was some talk about it a long time ago, just because it's so effective at improving P450 detoxification systems. So anyway, guys, there's a few things that you can do to improve this yourself. So we spoke about last time the B12, folate, B6, B3 in this upper process through here. The whole process seems to be improved by herbals such as St. Mary's thistle, glutathione, some cordyceps, NAC, liposomal or S-acetyl glutathione, really powerful at getting glutathione up intracellularly. And then we've got herbs such as St. John's wort, which seem to improve P450 enzyme complexes as well. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions on methylation still, and now we're moving into the detoxification process, just post them up or send me a message. Always too happy to help you in any way, shape or form that I can. Anyway, guys, remember, it's all about adding the quality to the years of your life, and we'll see you in the next vid. Bye for now.